Get ready for the ultimate political showdown every Sunday at 6 p.m. Join the dynamic Fuhad Saheed, the trusted guide through the maze of politics and conversation everyone will be talking about.
Join Fuhad Saheed as he dives deep into the heart of the matters, exploring the issues that matters most to you.
And there is no subsidy in that sector, according to the government. So what you have, and the government is very reluctant to accept this, that we are funding the discourse, they are cash strapped. And so the government is trying to raise money for them. And that is why...
Tune in to Political Roundtable every Sunday at 6 p.m. only on Mainland.
Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
Alright, it's time for Political Roundtable Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Saheed Fuhad, the show where we look at the major issues in the political space. Interestingly today, just one issue. And I think it's the issue dominating the political space across the country. I've seen a number of people thinking, well, why are we so focused on this Rivers issue? You know, we've almost over-discussed this. That's in the opinion of people would think that, look, maybe there are other issues we should have focused on. But I think by the time we look at all of the sides to this particular issue, Nigerians will now understand why it's important for us to focus on what is brewing in Rivers State. It's a crisis that has been there for some time now, and it just keeps taking a new dimension. You know, new things keep coming into it, new players, new intrigues, legalities. A lot of issues keeps coming up as far as Rivers State is concerned. And I had a conversation with Barrister Curtis earlier in the morning. I said that, look, this is just going to be the only issue we're going to talk about today, really, because I want us to touch on all the issues, really, all sides of what has made this Rivers State issue so intriguing. You know, the updates as we have it is that the PDP is saying they are now in control. That's what the PDP is saying in Rivers State. That's an update that I think is in all the papers. You know, yesterday, the PDP issued a statement saying they are now in control in Rivers State. Of course, Wike was also in Rivers State, and he's also making statements. And what he has said basically is that, look, he's apologizing to the people of Rivers State for choosing a wrong successor. He has called Fubara a very wrong choice. It was his choice, so he's apologizing to the people of Rivers State for making that wrong choice. And he has also told the lawmakers are loyal to him that, look, nobody can remove you. They are making mistakes. They will continue to make mistakes. That's the position of the FCT minister, Yᴏᴜᴛ, who was also in Rivers State. And of course, he had some interesting statements to make as far as this crisis is concerned. And then Chief Olabode George has also brought an interesting dimension to this particular crisis. And what he has said is that Rivers crisis a threat to Nigeria's democracy. That's Chief Olabode George. He's saying that, look, we should not forget the Western region crisis that led, you know, to the end of the First Republic. We cannot forget the wild west, what you call Operation ᴍᴜ. And he's also bringing that to this particular conversation. And what he's saying basically is that, look, the president should pay attention to what is happening in Rivers State, and that indeed the PDP leadership must also come into the party now and take charge of what is happening in Rivers State. So I'm also going to look at the depths and the interesting 25 lawmakers loyal to Wike from functioning as assembly members. I had a conversation with Nuruddin before coming live on the show, and that interim injunction is loaded. The judge did not mince words, really, in giving that injunction. Wasn't he made earlier in the week that, look, these lawmakers are not known to law. They are just existing because of his own magnanimity, really. If he wanted them to be a thing of the past, he knows what to do. And a lot has come. We are going to listen just a bit of what he said, really, for proper context. But again, Governor Fubara has officially issued Executive Order 001, which means the first executive order that is coming from him, directing the relocation of the assembly assembly complex, the sittings of the National State Assembly, to the auditorium in the government house. That's the executive order, and he said he's exercising his powers to do so. And that's the first, although this gazette was issued sometime last year, but officially, sometimes in March this year, but officially he has now issued it as an executive order 001, which is the first one, directing the relocation of the state assembly activities to the auditorium in the government, and they should come and be sitting with me. Want to be seen eye to eye. I think that's what that really means. But again, the police have said that the police have deployed more men to the assembly quarters complex. Although the commissioner of police in the state has said that, look, it was not a takeover of the complex. They were just there to maintain peace. So that's also an update from the police. And then, of course, the factional speaker, we can call him factional speaker now because we have two speakers now, in Rivers State, Martin Amaewhule, of course, the faction that is loyal to Nyesom Wike, also said a whole lot of things as far as Governor Fubara is concerned. He called him all manner of names. That, look, in fact, at some point he called him insane. At some point he used the word insane on the governor. So those are the updates, really. I think that's what I've been able to aggregate as updates coming from the crisis in Rivers State. The house is full. Political Roundtable is full today. We are streaming the show live on Facebook. We're also streaming the show on YouTube, and I'm sure we're also on Radio Garden. So if you have any of your friends, family members, loved ones that you want to be a part of this show, you can tell them. If they are not in Lagos, any part of the world, they can also listen to the show via the Radio Garden platform. Of course, they can also watch the show on Facebook and YouTube. It is a full house, and I'm expecting that we're going to have a brilliant conversation this evening. Barrister Curtis Adigba is already seated in the studio. Nice to have you in the studio this evening, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we also have Nuruddin Adegbero in the studio. Nice to have you in the studio.
Good evening, and good evening to our listeners.
All right, Joseph Folorunsho is back in the studio. I think he's been able to get fuel eventually. Last week he couldn't make it. He said he was still at the filling station struggling to get fuel. But I think it's all resolved now, at least to a great extent.
No, it's not resolved.
Okay.
I was lucky today.
Okay, just lucky today. Okay. All right. But it's nice to have you in the studio this evening.
Yeah. Thank
All
you
right, before we go straight into the show, it's important that we congratulate our very own Mama Rainbow. The AMVC Awards was held yesterday for movie lovers, and Captain Modesta Idowu Phillips, the winner of the Industry Merit Award, the female category. I think RMD got the male category.
Yes.
So Mama Rainbow, we say congratulations to you.
Who's Mama Rainbow?
I know you might not, but if you are a lover of the Yoruba movie industry, Nollywood Yoruba precisely, she's one of the best that has ever been. She's 82 years old.
She deserves it with number of years
where she has spent, and she's 82 looking like 40.
Looking like 40.
She's also a member of the Mainland FM family, because she's always here every Saturday to be a part of the Agbobrima Marimbo, a family-oriented program, talking about women issues, marital, and all of that. So, congratulations to you, Captain Modesta Idowu Phillips, on that very, very deserving award. That's the winner of the Industry Merit Award, the female category. Now, let's go straight to what we have on Political Roundtable Mainland 98.3 FM. I want us to be a bit methodical about this particular issue, because I think several have been accused of being biased, taking sides. So I might be operating more from the side of Nyesom Wike today, and I'll allow the other side to decide where they want to stay, because people have said I've taken too much sides on the side of course, the governor and all of that. Maybe my own moral instincts, really.
And the law.
And what the law says, But again, let's just go in this way. The PDP has issued a statement, and what they have said is that, look, the court judgment on Friday, which bars Rivers State lawmakers loyal to the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike from playing their legislative roles for now, appears to have bolstered the confidence of the PDP, which declared on Saturday that the APC should, at this point, perish the thought of governing the state. They've gone political. But in a statement by its National Policy Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, on yesterday, the party claimed that all legislators who defected to the APC have forfeited their seats, citing constitutional provisions. And of course, he went on and on and on. Of course, we're going to look at the provisions of the law before we really delve into all of these issues. By 𝐶𝐴𝐶𝐷, I think we predicted that this was going to happen, really. You remember the 8-point resolution of the president when it was issued some months back, and we said that, look, this was like sweeping the evil day, the debt under the carpet. It's like postponing the evil day, really. That, look, that resolution in itself was too partial, was too lopsided, was too one-sided, and that indeed, if Fubara decides to implement everything in that resolution, that directive of the president, he will be committing a political suicide. Things have since changed. Governor Fubara has said that, look, that 8-point resolution, yes, he looked at it, he wanted to respect the president, but there's nothing legal to it, there's nothing constitutional about it. In fact, if we want to interpret what he said recently, it's more like just a piece of paper that has no value and worth under the law. I'm going to allow you to take us into how we got to this particular point. And the question I've asked myself on the show, or we'll be asking ourselves, is that the Rivers crisis, how much of a threat or a test is it for Nigeria's democracy at this time? Over to you, Mr. Curtis Adigba.
All right, thank you, and good evening to the listeners. I think first and foremost, I'll be correct to say that majority of the actors on the political scene today did not fight for democracy. And so they don't know what it is.
They don't know the worth of
apart from Mr. President, who played a key role in the formation and the strengthening of NADECO, the APES group that fought for democracy, where we had people like late Abraham Adesoye, Ajasin,
Anthony Enahoro,
Abiola Enahoro. Probably most of these guys making noise now were even enablers of military
at that time,
government.
quietly,
because they were the one running errand for them. So they don't know how we got here. And that buttresses the saying that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. And this is what we are saying. Look, for them, it's a simple game. I think the PDP is a reactionary. PDP does not know how to play the role of an opposition party. But in Rivers State, the PDP is not even an opposition party.
They are the ruling party.
They are the ruling party, for crying out loud. So I think that they are just waking up to the reality. Unfortunately, because of the misrole, the supposedly called leader of the party in the state
is playing.
It's like a political hermaphrodite. It's both male and female at the same time. It's in APC, one leg, it's in PDP, the other leg. But he's claiming to be in PDP. And if you know that, how politics is played, how political parties are organized, look, it's disturbing that the same man is still going around as a card-carrying member of the PDP.
He was at their neck meeting.
Should have been expelled. And they haven't swooned for. But let me tell you what I think the problem is here. As we sit in the studio now, we are 5 here. Can anybody tell me what is causing the crisis in Rivers State? Have you been told?
Nobody.
As Fubara told you
the real issue,
or Wike told you why they are fighting.
We just know they are fighting.
So why are they fighting?
We don't know.
Okay.
But there was a hint.
Is it that
there was a hint?
Okay, what was the hint?
The hint came from Fubara, who said that, look, it's just about the treasury of the state.
As the green biro.
And that the biro, he's talked about the fact that, look, people just want to corner the resources of the state. So that's probably the closest hint we've gotten.
That's generic.
It's generic, I agree.
So, because what are the specific issues?
Issues when it comes to even the treasury we are talking about.
I've heard somebody say, and that's coming from the FCT minister himself, that they are banding about figures, 15%, 10% of the state allocation and all that. Who's talking about money here? And even if we're talking about money, what is wrong with it? Because we made it happen.
We bought the forms
for everybody, from council down to governorship, to Senate. Nobody bought any.
That reminds me of the Amala politics of Oyo State, Nuruddin.
Yeah.
When by Pade Dibu said that 20 security votes don't I deserve
title to Emmanuel title.
I'm not entitled to.
I control the streets.
So go on, but it's according to Adigba.
So let's
according to Amala politics, because he said am I not entitled to security vote from the governor? At least I control the streets.
So let's look at the issues one after the other. So
right. we don't model things up.
We don't know the cause of.
We
this
don't know
conflict,
for a fact. I agree with you.
but we can speculate.
Yes.
Based on what the key figures themselves have said.
I've said yes.
One said it's about the treasury, and I have my green pen. The other one say, oh, they are banning about figures. Whether it's
he's talking about money here.
And if it's about money, what is wrong with that?
And that people are just ungrateful. He's just talking about gratitude. Really. Yeah.
So we narrow it down that this issue is about control and access to the treasury of the state.
River State.
Now, whichever way you look at it, it's also very disturbing because we have succeeded in reducing our democracy to cash and carry. It depends on who controls whoever controls the government controls the treasury. Wide open, no protection for people's funds. So you will then find an incumbent governor. Yes, there's no denying the role Wike played in getting Fubara there.
Elected as governor.
But people shouldn't forget that the same Fubara, as Accountant General of the state, was the one that buried all the bodies for Wike.
He was almost going to be arrested.
And he knew where all the bodies were buried. In fact, he was declared by the EFCC
wanted, at some point.
And all the major reason why Nyesom Wike fought so hard to get him to be a governor is so he can cloak him,
and then the immunity comes into
immunity, whereby cannot.
People don't even understand that part of the conversation.
Yes, and now they are fighting, and they have not told us, but as we are speculating, you will find out that it was in this very studio we said when Fubara went to Abuja to sign the agreement, where we were told that at a point he was even scolded
by the president.
Yes, like a schoolboy being scolded by his principal. The man went back to River State and said, look, in spite of your opposition to the agreement that I have signed, there is no price
too heavy to pay for peace.
For peace. So that was somebody who was in a reconciliatory move
at that time.
So what changed? Even when the great resigned,
were brought back,
he took them back.
He represent the budget.
He didn't do that.
He wanted to represent the budget, but the atmosphere was so hostile
that he couldn't do that. Yeah.
But what he did was that he took out the guy who was the factional speaker. He took him out of the house.
Come and work with me, chief of staff. Yes, that's Iṛsᴛ.
Yes, those were moves towards peace. But I think that was seen as weakness. And then the elders of Rivers who felt that, come on, this guy is willing to do everything to ensure that there is peace, but there is no concession coming from the other side. They had to start queuing behind this guy,
Fubara.
And because of the constant barrage of actions undermining his authority,
by the State House of Assembly,
Governor Wike, as a governor, would never have accepted from anybody.
I think he's been vetoed almost like 8 times.
Yes, but again, like we said here, to what purpose? Who is going to execute the veto?
You veto.
So it's a waste of time.
You veto, you're your own.
But I think that the actions that the governor has taken now is devastating to the opposition, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
Section 68 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended, provided for defection from one party to the other only in respect of members of the National Assembly and the State House of Assembly. State Houses of Assembly. Why? In the wisdom of the drafters of our Constitution, members of the National Assembly represents the people. And to that extent, if the people finds confidence in these people to continue to represent them, there should be no term limit. And that is why a governor is term-barred, a president is term-barred, members of the National Assembly
unlimited time.
Have unlimited time. Now, in order to then preserve the sanctity. Because you see, you have a situation where people keep moving
around,
crossing carpet and all that, and causing confusion. The same constitution said, yes, if you are a member of the National Assembly or State Assembly, you can move from your party to another party if there is conflict or crisis leading to division in your party. And in the absence of that, if you do, you will lose your position. Okay? Now, this provision of the law has been interpreted by the courts in the case of Abegunde's case.
Yeah. So the State of Assembly.
Yes. Abegunde, in Ondo State, where the court laid down clearly the conditions that represents a conflict or division in the party.
Yeah.
Which is that the conflict or the division must be so bad that no faction of the party is recognized by the law or INEC.
This is what he says by Sarkozy. The division must affect the entire structure of the political party.
Yes.
At the center, that the national leadership, cannot function again.
Exactly. And what is the implication of that is that political parties submit names of candidates for election.
So if they have that crisis to the extent that they can't function as a party, you can leave.
No faction of the party is recognized by the law.
By the law, you can move. If that crisis is that deep, you can leave.
It means that if Joseph is the candidate,
yes,
he cannot be presented
because the party has gone into crisis that they can't even function. Yeah.
So you as a member of that party who want to risk by staying
in that party, you can move.
Cannot present you. That's the condition.
But the PDP is still functioning.
But now, what is happening in Rivers State is that there's a personal disagreement between Wike
and the governor
Fubara. And these guys wanting to just impress Wike in Abuja
defected.
Give him a reason to say, I control the state. Because the questions began to arise around his control.
Whether he really has that control. Yes. He wants to, yeah.
So they looked at his wink. He just gave them a nod and a wink.
Move.
Without considering the conditions, they jump.
Or as their constituents.
No, they just
the law even allows them. But the law is clear.
They were only acting to the audience of one, which is Wike.
Not the voice of reasoning, as dictated by the law.
And so what has happened is that Governor Fubara knows, and that was the main reason why, as soon as they did that, a faction emerged of four that he presented the budget to.
Which means there has been a faction ever since.
So because you see, in law, when you are talking about the majority is a function of legality. If 10 armed robbers gathered in Ojota Park today and decide to invade their state and say we form a quorum to do what? So there may be 25, but in the eye of the law,
they don't exist.
It's like 100% of zero.
It's still zero.
It's still zero. And that was why the governor was able to present, because the majority is now a function of the validity of the House members. That is,
even if it's two.
Even if it is two, you have a speaker and the other person majority.
So far, that's what the law record as at that time.
So, but then you see, it has to be tested in the court,
which is still going on.
That decision is there, but it has to be applied.
Of course, yes.
That is what he has done now. That is the first step. Going to the court in Port Harcourt, that now said, these 25 members, stop parading yourself.
And the judgment has come. The interim injunction has come.
That's what I'm saying. That's the first step.
Yes.
The next step would be to declare their
seats vacant.
That could be done either by the court or by the factional speaker.
Because the law says the speaker should do that.
You saw what happened in Edo State?
Of course, yes.
And you see, the danger for these 25 men is that if Fubara is decided to lift a page
from what happened in Edo State,
from the playbook of Obaseki
in Edo State,
they will be in trouble. Because you see, at the point they ran away from Edo to Abuja. And after Oshawa, they couldn't keep them.
He can't be paid there.
Oshawa was not in trouble too.
They started returning to Edo and trying to reach out to the governor.
But it was too late. The man
how they will be rehabilitated.
Yes.
So, but again, the entire problem here is the personalization of our politics. by individuals.
Personalization
of state power by individuals. The whole idea that one man can shake down the party structure, eliminate everybody who was qualified to contest, and say, this is my candidate.
And still was able to get his way.
Yes, and that's why he's apologizing now. But you see, what he doesn't realize is that he's promising that in 2027, he will correct the mistake. Probably he could. We live in a country where nothing is unbelievable, or nothing is
impossible. Yes.
However, you should be careful, because it's now a diminished Wike. He is no longer the governor of
River State, yes,
with all the executive powers and access to billions of naira.
He's just a minister now.
He's just a minister
existing on the goodwill of the president.
So he has to be careful.
All right. He has to be careful. Thank you so much, Mr. Kovsali. I think that was a very good foundation, really, to set the tone for the kind of conversation we're going to have today. Nuruddin, again, very, very important question. And I think I asked Mr. Kovsali that question, and he has said something about, Wike winking to these lawmakers, and then, of course, creating that impression, of course, maybe to the president, that, look, I'm still in control. The Abeguni case is a very classic case. And one would think that a Nyesom Wike, for example, a lawyer, somebody who has been in the political space, almost from the grassroots, right into the rank and file, to become the, eventually the chief of staff to the governor, minister, and then becoming a governor, would at least understand the provisions of the law. What do you think happened? Now, I'm going to come back to this 8-point agenda, but what could have been the reason at that time for the lawmakers to have defected from the PDP to the APC? Because what people are saying is that they could have still remained in the PDP and be doing what they are doing now. Even the man that winked to them to move
has not left.
He's still where he is. He's still where he is. He's still sitting in the same party that I told you to shift. So, is it a zombie-like kind of politics where people are not independent to think for themselves? Somebody said politicians swear oaths and do all manner of things. But I'm looking at the political wisdom now, the legal political wisdom to that decision, and what could have been the reason for them to, because they could have still look at Wike now. He's still in the PDP, and the trouble is giving the PDP. I think it's even bigger than somebody who is in the APC. So why did you see? Let's just look at it politically now. What could have happened at that time?
First thing there is this. You remember the day we discussed the issue of Fubara, and we look at it that one of the things that make those lawmakers to make that wrong step, the first one is overconfidence.
What's
one of the things there is that they believe that no matter what happened, Wike is there and is going to take care of it. That one is one.
Wike is there as what?
Wike is there as a god fighting politics. There are 3 lawyers.
Yes.
They will
never enter the country.
They will, and that's what they're going to be using. Yes. Then there are some certain law. There are some certain never see them defending one case without that thing again. That he has a think tank, thinking tank, and that's why every berated him.
No,
shows that Wike Fubara has not been governor for 4 years, but he's the current governor now. And in that case, when you are the only one communicator, but he's a talkative, he will say some certain things that will put into trouble.
All right.
So that's the thing.
Okay, no, really. At that time, instead of an attempt to bamboozle the governor, an attempt to talk him down, instead of the president, Wike, and those that called him to have the bigger picture, accord him the deserved respect and look for a workable political solution, not a one-sided, lopsided political solution. And it seems Fubara may be outsmarting them at the end of the day. Now, let's look at the 8-point agenda. The first one, Governor Fubara and his allies will withdraw all court cases related to the crisis. I don't think that was done completely. No. Really. Number 2, the State House of Assembly will drop impeachment proceedings initiated against Fubara. I think they did that. But there are people who have said that, look, you drop the impeachment proceedings, but on a daily basis you sit down, enacting laws and vetoing the governor just to continue to wither down the power of the governor. Several cases, really. I think the latest one was the issue of the local government.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that too. And then, of course, the leadership of the House, that's number 3, under Martin and Mawele, will be recognized along with those that defected. The legality of that recognition is also, what we are also talking about, and that's what Fubara is saying. The fourth one, Governor Fubara will represent the 2024 budget. He has not done that. Salaries and benefits of all assembly members will be restored. I think
he was paying them. If he has not paid them, they won't be. But now I know it's going to stop.
I think he has been paid. But now that he has said you probably have to stop. Now, the assembly will have autonomy to choose location and conduct legislative business without interference. I think he allowed that to remain. But as it is now, his visit to the assembly quarters recently shows that he might be changing his mind. Especially with the idea of the executive order that now said that come to the auditorium of the governor's the government house. That's also one question. I think that's also a part of the conversation.
What a horrible condition. So the speaker can take the sitting to his personal house.
That's what they that's what I'm saying. That look, that they can choose any location.
They have impeached him.
They can even take it to their bedroom and sit down there. And because again, we looked at some of these things at that time. The seventh condition, the governor will submit names of commission. I think he did that. But he has also shown them the way out. So,
no, he didn't show that they resigned.
No, the person of that.
No, they resigned.
The attorney general to special duties in the governor's office.
The governor can pick any commissioner. It's just like a minister.
I know what I'm just saying that.
They resigned.
Yes.
The agreement did not state that.
You should put them in the same position. Or you cannot redeploy them.
Yes, it didn't say so.
So you honor this one.
You should just take them back.
In fact, he can pick anybody tomorrow.
So we can think that you honor this one.
Yes, Tinubu can decide tomorrow and say that Minister Wike, thank you for coming in Abuja. Now you are going to be a minister of water resources.
So you did this one. So then, of course, the dissolution of local government is null and void. That's also one issue. But before we go there, Joseph Olorunsho, when Fubara signed that resolution at that time, now he's saying that, look, there's nothing to Lord. What was the wisdom at that time? Was it that, look, because a lot of us criticized him, look, he was just political suicide, really. He was going to kill himself politically. But now that things are playing out the way it's playing out, the things he's saying and the way he's fighting back, do you think it was just a wise political strategy?
Yes. They know what we said that is still valid, though.
Yes.
Implementing this, it will kill him all.
No, we don't.
We said he's pulling away from it.
Yes. We said that. So the fact that he didn't even implement it completely, or he left it hanging at some point, what's the political wisdom behind all of that? And what do you think really about the developments in Rivers State for now?
Okay, Oga Fuad, signing this thing in Abuja, to me, the governor is a very smart person, because when you talk of safety is very, very important when you are in some environment.
Yes.
If I go back to Anambra State, then when the whole governor was abducted, kidnapped, then if you have that kind of news or that kind of experience, and you are going to a place that you are not sure the direction of the DSS, the direction of the IGP, or the security agency that are there, you have to play a full game. That okay, and whatever they are going to present to me, let me respect the president and sign and see how I can go back to my state. Then the second side is, who actually draft this list? Is it the president that actually draft them, or they draft them and say, Mr. President, this is what we are going to decide?
I think we should not even bother. The fact was that it was said that the president handed it over to the governor. To the former governor, Mr. Peter Odili, to give to the governor, and the rest is history, because the governor had to sign.
Yeah, to me, what the governor did was a very fantastic one. I agree with them. Then he now go back to the state. The people that elected him now say, well, we are not sure. It take me back to when Barrister Kotti's former governor was trying to decamp to ZPDP back.
Yes.
He was saying going to Abuja. He now say, oh, see them now. I want to go. My people say I should not go.
They block my vehicle. So it's my people, it's not me.
So it's possible that when
Fubara got there and he took the paper to his people.
The people say, this one,
now you sign through to, but don't implement it.
Don't implement it. So he may be acting on behalf of his people. But one thing that is very, very instructive, I think Abuja, we need to actually go and investigate the kind of air or the environment that is going on in Abuja. Because if you look what Governor Wike is saying now about what the comment he has been making, my former governor equally did that when Adams Oshiomhole was, him and Obaseki was fight it seriously. He knelt down in some places and apologized that, oh, I want to apologize for presenting Obaseki as a candidate or forcing him on the people of Edo State. Now he has discovered that he's not the person that he's supposed to present. You understand? Just as Wike is apologizing to the people of Rivers State. So we need to investigate what's going on in Abuja. But one thing that I've been observing from Fubara is, I think the quietness of Fubara then was a very, very unique one.
Strategic one,
was very strategic. I said, okay, let me play along and be watching and watching. And then, Barrister Coty will equally confirm to at that very time, we never know the direction of the Supreme Court or the litigation in respect of the court. How do you call it? The electoral process is yet to be ended. I think Fubara was just waiting and said, okay, let me actually get
Supreme Court judgment and all of that.
Both election. Now that he has confirmed that they are not going to any court
for 4 years.
For years, 4 years is assured. So it is not that he's not coming out with the personality of Fubara.
In now Fubara.
All those who were just playing a fool. And I would advise former Governor Wike, now FCT Minister, is it not better you equally put a call to Adams Oshiomhole, the former governor of Edo State, when you go to this kind of fights?
How do you handle it?
How do you handle it? And what was the consequence of it so far? Though I equally learned that Obaseki and Oshiomhole sometimes they can be reconciling now. But to me, for Wike to be relevant, because if President wake up from maybe one side and decide that
to let him go.
I want to carry you to Ministry of Special Duty,